Carol here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is programminginanylanguage.com or black-duck.com. They both take you to the same place, and it's a place where you'll find the videos and PDFs of the code. Video is returning objects from methods. We can return a random number from a method. Objects we create are no different. We can write methods to return an int, double, decimal, or any other type of data. If we create a class to create contact information and call it contact, we can return a contact from a method. That's what this video is all about, and there's nothing fancy here. We are simply going to create a contact class. Then, from a form, we will create a method that instantiates that call and returns an instance of the class to a calling module, in this case, a button. This is actually more difficult to explain than actually do, so let's just do it. As you work with classes, you're building many objects. And it becomes important to be able to learn how to return objects from methods, because methods are going to be using objects at some time. And this is a very short explanation or a very short video on how to do that. It'll get you started on what we're actually going to try to accomplish for the next series of videos. So let's take a look. We're going to try to do something very, very simple. We're going to return objects from methods using a very simple contact info application. Nothing more than basically a couple of text boxes that allow you to enter a name and an email address. There's going to be a button that's going to get that contact information, going to get the data from those text boxes, and create an instance of a class. So the class will be the contact class, as you can see down here. And it'll take that, create an instance of that class, and then that instant is going to be created by the method here, and it's going to return the instance and the data in that instance of the method to the button right up here, and we'll be able to display it as we're going on. So it's not a big deal. It's nothing very, that we're going to be able to use as is, but it's going to show you the concept which we can build on later as we go through this. Let's go through this a little bit. A method can return a reference to an object. For example, suppose we have the following class contact. We've got a constructor right up here, which contains a name and the email, and we have two properties. The name and email property, we have get and set capabilities for those things. The application itself is nothing more than two text boxes and a button. This simple program creates an instance of a contact class and passes the contents of the two text boxes to the class via the set method when the button is pressed. The button click event calls the getContact method. The reference that is returned from the method is assigned to this contact variable. So we have that variable over here, this contact, and we're going to get contact. We're going to go ahead and get the data and create the instance. Now, the getContact method creates an instance of the contact object, passing the contents of the two text boxes to the set methods of the class, and stores the reference to that instance in the variable strContact. strContact is returned to the calling button's click event. You can see that right here. The return type in this particular method is not a string, not an integer. It's a contact. Basically, return type is going to be that particular object that we're creating. Private contact, get contact. This statement right down here creates the contact object, the instance. The object reference is assigned the strContact variable. So you can see the variable strContact is going to be this new instance that's going to grab the text name and text email and bring it in and add it to using the set parameters in the class to create the instance. Then we're going to return strContact. So this return is going to allow us to return this instance, the data in the instance, to the calling piece, which is the button. The statement returns the reference that is stored in the contact variable. Now, once the reference to the instance of the class is returned to the calling program, a message box displays a name and email stored in the instance of the class. Note that $. Inside the message portion of the message box show.command. It states that anything inside the brace is considered C# code. Therefore, we'll see the displayed contents of the instance class. And you can see it right here. Message box show, $. That means there's C# code in here. Put the quotes around it, and then the braces refer to the code. This contact.name, this contact.email. This is going to allow us to bring up the data, the name that we put in here, and the email address that's put in there, and display it in the message box. Now, this is how it kind of works. Data is entered in the text boxes. As soon as you do that, the button fires the click event. Click event button is going to use the getContact method and call it. An instance of the class is created, storing contents of the text box in the instance. Reference to the instance is stored in the variable strContact. So we can see that right in here. That strContact then is returned to this contact. And then that in turn allows us to take that contents of the reference and display it using the C# code that's sitting in here. One way to see that is through the application, actually build the application. Here we have the simple form itself. We don't have much in here. What we have here is a form that is not been named. We're still calling it Form 1. That's fine. We do have the text name, text email, and button getContact are sitting in here. That's really the only thing we have here. What we don't have now is the class and the form code that we need to put in there. So let's build the class first. We'll go in here and we'll basically add a class. I'm going to call that class Contact. That's going to give us the code that starts our little project here. I'm going to take that now and I'm going to go ahead and put the constructor in place, which is going to be the contact string name, string email, and we're going to have the name and email sitting in here as the constructor. I'm going to add the properties. That'll get rid of those little errors we have there by sticking that right underneath here. And there's our public string name, get and set, public string email, get and set. And that eliminates there. And that's all we need to do to create the class. Do a little save on this thing and go to our form design. What we want to do with our form design is we want to be able to create the code that is going to make this thing work. So we're going to click on our Get Contact Info button. That's going to create the button Get Contact event. What we want to do with that thing right there is we want to go ahead and set up that variable and go ahead and get the method that is going to get our contact information. When we're all done, we should get a return of this contact and we'll have a message box that's going to show the information. Get contact showing an error right now because we don't have that method created. So we're going to create that method next. And we do that simply right under here by popping it in place. Get contact var strContact equals new contact text name, text email. It's going to grab our data off the form. Return strContact. And then this gets returned up to here, which is going to allow us to actually display this name. That's all we need to do to make this thing work. Let's go ahead and do it. Save all. Oh, let's go ahead and change that form too so we can actually have it start up in the center screen. Start position will be the center screen piece here. And then we'll go ahead and do file save, and run it, and up she comes. What we're going to do here is we're going to type in our name. We'll use Daffy Duck. And we'll put the email address as dduck@gmail.com. And go ahead and get that contact information. As soon as it gets it, it goes ahead and uses that data in the class, the instance of the class, and displays it right in here. So we see Daffy Duck and dduck@gmail.com is popping in here. So that's basically how easy it is to return an object from a method. No biggie here, but now you know how to handle a class and a method and return a reference to an instance you have created. This will always be useful as you use more methods in your code. In the next video, we will learn that every class has a toString method associated with it. It's not very useful until you override it. We'll see how that's done in the next video. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance, and please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.